Hey, what's up guys? I'm Ryan from ExtremeTerrain, and today I'm here with the Magnaflow Loop Delete Kit fitting your 2012 to 2018 four-door JK with the 3.6 liter motor. This is going to be for the avid off-roader that's looking to chop some exhaust to gain some additional clearance for those rocky trails. This works with your factory headers and gets rid of that factory mid-pipe loop underneath of there, so it's going to clear up that area a little bit. With this kit, you're retaining your factory catalytic converter, so it's going to keep you legal on the street, and this is made of high-quality stainless steel, so you won't have to deal with all the rusting issues of standard steel, and it's mandrel bent for not only a direct fit, but it's gonna hug that frame nice and tight. This is designed to be a direct bolt-on, bolting onto that Y-pipe and clamping onto that catalytic converter. However, there is a little cutting required. You have to cut out that factory loop. This is reasonably priced on the site and is an affordable fix to gain some clearance under there at just around $100. As far as the install goes, I'm gonna give this a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, as you should be able to install this in about 2 hours. However, you will need some specialty tools like a Sawzall. Now with that being said, let's hop into the install. Tools required for this install: a Sawzall or cutting implement, safety gloves, 3/8 drive, impact or ratchet, a 15mm socket, 13mm socket, 13mm wrench, safety glasses, measuring tape, and a marker. So with our Jeep up in the air, the first thing we're gonna do is take a tape measure and a marking device, and we're gonna measure 3 inches down from the weld on the bottom of our catalytic converter. And we're gonna make a line, and then we'll cut it with a Sawzall. So after you mark that line, the next thing we're gonna do is make that cut. So you wanna make sure you wear your safety glasses and your safety gloves, and then we'll go ahead and cut that off. So after you make that cut, the next thing to do is to unbolt this whole section from the Y-pipe. Now, if your bolt heads are intact, you're gonna use a 13mm socket and unbolt those. Our bolt heads are completely rusted off, so what we're gonna do is just cut in between this flange to separate those bolts, then we'll get them out and we're gonna replace all that hardware. So while you're getting this last bolt out, whether you're cutting it or just unbolting it, you wanna keep a hand on this exhaust system because it is gonna be free and fall out of the Jeep. So we finally got our factory loop cut out, and we're just about ready to install this Loop Delete from Magnaflow. But before we do that, I want to take a moment to tell you a little bit about what this is made of, what it's going to do for your Jeep, and how it compares to the stock one. Now, the stock system has a factory loop in it. This loop is a little bulky and does hang down low, causing some clearance issues. If you're looking to clean that up, this is a perfect solution to that issue. Now, some may refer to this as a factory flaw. However, this was specifically engineered to increase your runner length. It makes both your driver's side and your passenger side equal lengths to where they meet the Y-pipe. This is to equalize back pressure. So by cutting out this loop and installing this shorter section, you're gonna cause a bit of excess back pressure on the driver's side. However, you're not really gonna notice that. Now, Magnaflow claims by installing this Loop Delete that you are gonna increase flow, resulting in improved horsepower and sound. The main purpose of this is not necessarily to do any of that. It's to increase clearance. Like I said, this is gonna clear up that whole area under there, and this is made of mandrel bent tubing designed to hug that frame, so it's gonna stay up there nice and tight. Not only that, but this is made of stainless steel exhaust, so it's gonna stay relatively rust-free compared to a standard steel system. This is also relatively easy to install. However, you do have to cut that exhaust system, but the point that you need to cut it is above the drive shaft and relatively easy to get to with a Sawzall. Now this comes with a new flange that's gonna allow you to bolt directly to that Y-pipe, reusing the factory hardware, and it has a nice clamp that you can clamp it onto the back of the catalytic converter. With this system, we are retaining our catalytic converter, so you're gonna stay legal, and if your bolts are in good shape, unlike our system, you can reuse those as well to install this. Our bolts were a little messed up, so we wound up cutting those off, and we're gonna use brand new hardware. Now with that being said, let's show you how this gets installed and what it looks like on the Jeep. So now we're back under the Jeep. The first thing we're gonna do is install our flange. We're gonna let that slide all the way down, and then we're gonna take our clamp and place our clamp on there. Once we get that on there, we're ready to fish this onto our catalytic converter. So basically what we want to do is wiggle this pipe as far up as we can, and that way we can get this whole socket down here and this flange to line up. Once you get this pipe all the way up to meet this weld seam, we're going to slide our clamp up, take a 15mm socket and tighten that clamp up. So next we're going to install our hardware on our collector. So if you're reusing those factory bolts, you want to stick those bolts in. The Magnaflow gives you brand new washers and nuts to install. Once we get all of our hardware installed, we're going to tighten it up with a 15mm wrench and socket. So that's going to wrap up my review and install. For more videos like this, check us out at ExtremeTerrain.com.